Hello, today I would like to tell you about how to show your game in 60 seconds, meaning how to prepare game trailers, how to operate all of the software that you need to, and what software do you need to create trailers. I would like to focus on the technical side. I would like to focus on things like how to get your gameplay video footage out of your game, how to arrange it back together into a coherent trailer that looks good and is technically compatible with all of the solutions that show trailer, meaning the websites on the internet and apps on mobile, because that's what people use to view video games trailers nowadays. Julius, my friend, already provided you with some information about how to put together trailers to make them interesting, to properly arrange the footage into something coherent, how to not bore the audience to death in 60 seconds. I will not focus so much on a composition. I would like to focus on the technical side of getting the footage out of your game and putting the footage back together, and in the meantime preparing the footage to be put back together. So the things that are there to know, the things that I would like to tell you about is first how to properly record your game footage, how to get the game footage out of your game. I see a lot of trailers that have like choppy gameplay. That is completely unacceptable, and it's important to have the footage out of your game, to take it out in a genuine form, and sometimes even cheated a bit, because you know, when you're making a game you're using debug modes and stuff like that, and it slows down. The game is more resource intensive than the final product, the one that you are developing, the debug versions of the game, plus the recording software always takes up resources as well, so you need to take that up into account, and I will show you some solutions on how you can alleviate that and how you can properly get the gameplay out of your game without sacrificing the precious FPS. And of course, what to record, what parts of the game to record, and how to prepare the game to be recorded. What can you maybe fake and what should be genuine gameplay, and how much do you need of each. So I would like to also tell you about like what to record, what to focus on, what to show from your game, right? And how to prepare the footage for editing. So you think it's simple, like I record the footage and then I slice it and dice it and put it back together into a salad of a trailer that's super awesome. But the thing is, video editing is a really powerful task that needs powerful software and hardware. So you might want to take the middle step to prepare the footage that is recorded to be the footage that is edited. So you want to take one step out of the final step to have a smoother and easier time editing without so much cursing and maybe having to deal with powerful editing software. And what tools to use. This is important because the video editing software is a powerful software. So it's also, of course, really expensive, but I would like to focus on stuff that you can get for free or for really cheap, or stuff that you might already have on you, like on your computer. So I would like to focus on that, like what tools to use, how you can use them, or how you can find information on how to use them. These might look really scary at the first glance, but do not be alarmed, and stay with me because I will explain how to use them and why I have chosen these tools to show you, and why these are the tools that I am using. So why are these the tools that I am using, right? But how to put this thing together, and also what tools you can use to get the gameplay out of your game, to prepare the footage, like to be the middleware kind of video tools, and the tools to arrange the footage back into a trailer, right? So these are the things that I would like to talk about, and how to put the things together, how to do the thing where you arrange it into a trailer, right? And also what to keep in mind when editing in the video. I will not focus on this part a lot because Julius already said all the important things about that. So First, gameplay recording tools. This is the most important step. Once you have the footage, you can do stuff with it, right? You need the footage to be able to put the trailer together. So what can we use? What tools can we use to get the gameplay out of the game efficiently, to get the gameplay in good quality without sacrificing performance, right? And you need to remember that you need a portion of the footage from your game. It shouldn't be too much, like the trailer should be around like 30 to 60 seconds, so like up to 1 hour of footage is like anything more than 1 hour of footage is too much to sift through. Remember that like watching 1 hour of footage takes 1 hour, right? Recording it takes 1 hour, watching it takes 1 hour at least, so that's like at least 2 hours, and of course it's more and more. So do not have too much footage, just think about a plan and like how to do that, and then like take the tools that I will tell you about. And I will start with something called Windows Game DVR. Windows Games DVR is something that is on every Windows machine that has Windows 10, and it is also on your machine, and when you press Windows plus G you will see this overlay if it is a game, and also like if it's not a game or the Windows is not sure, it will ask you, is this a game? And when you click the checkbox, yes, this is a game, it will allow you to record footage. It is free, it is on every Windows, it does have a hardware requirement, so if your hardware is really low spec, it will fail to launch because it's not compatible with your PC. So it will want something more powerful, right? But most of the PCs, even though like middle-range laptops, should without any trouble be able to run it and record footage from that. It is free, it is included in Windows, it is also like runs in the background, so when you play your game and you hit Windows, I think it's Windows Alt and R to start recording right away, it just starts recording because you want to record something like ad hoc while you're playing. You're like, hey, I'm gonna do this cool thing and this might come into the trailer, so I'll start recording now. So it runs in the background and you can like trigger it anytime. So it's really good. Check it out. One of the drawbacks is that it doesn't really have many options, and the quality is kind of, so it doesn't have many options in terms of quality, and the quality that is the default that you cannot change is kind of not too good. It's not as good as the other tools, right? It will allow you to record footage. You have settings in the Windows settings. You can see that you can check the audio quality and set the video quality to high. The high is, I would say, it could be higher, and also when you select video frame rate in the Windows settings, it will allow you to select 60 FPS if your machine is powerful enough, but it will not always record 60 FPS, and I have no idea why and how to fix this. So it's kind of bugged out, but if that's okay with you, is like 30 FPS footage okay for you to record, like you can go with it and it will work. It's not very intensive in terms of performance. It will not like hinder the performance of your game a lot, and it runs in the background. It is included. It is the best solution if you do not have anything else. Just run it and you have the footage and you can use that. Also, like not all computers can do 60 FPS, and even if they can and you select that doesn't always work. And also there's a hide the mouse option. It is really good, so sometimes you do not want the mouse to be seen on your game. It's kind of like you leave it there and then like all the footage from your trailer has your mouse in the middle of the screen, and that's not good. So you can just like click this, uncheck the capture mouse thing, and the mouse will just not be there. Right, so it will not be in the recording. So that's it for Windows Game DVR. I highly recommend it. It is on your computer if you have Windows 10, and you probably do if you're making games. So check it out, Windows G. You can press it right now and it works, right? Hey. Next thing is the Nvidia Capture. This is my favorite, my personal favorite. It's the Nvidia Capture. It's the Nvidia GeForce Experience overlay. So what it needs Nvidia GPU. I currently don't have an Nvidia GPU in the computer that I'm transmitting this from, so I can't show this to you. But when you have an Nvidia GPU, this
takes pretty much zero hit because it's hardware based. The Nvidia graphics card support writing back to your disk the footage that is shown on the screen. So you can use that to record your footage with near to zero performance hit from any game. The quality options are incredible. You can control the bitrate, you can control the resolution, you can use the original resolution or have it scale on the fly. And since this is a GPU, it just does that. It is made to manipulate videos and stuff. And also Nvidia have the H264 encoder. I will tell you about that later as well. So it will record an MP4 that is compressed. It will not record like an uncompressed video. So this is the best you can use if you have an NVIDIA GPU. If you don't and you're planning to buy one, I know the GPUs are in short stock, but if you plan to buy a new GPU, NVIDIA has that thing that is really cool for development. So make sure you consider that. So pros is nearly zero performance hit, and it runs in the background at all times. If your game is supported, then it just runs in the background. The cons is that it won't run with some games. So it is a hardware NVIDIA thing. So it needs hardware rendering. It needs the image to go through the GPU for it to work. So it will not work with like pixel art games that are not rendered with like OpenGL Direct 3D or other hardware stuff. And it requires a powerful NVIDIA GPU. Even if you have an NVIDIA GPU, but it's like from the low end spectrum, it might just not be supported. There is a section in NVIDIA GeForce Experience that tells you which features are supported and which are not. And one other thing that it does have that is really cool is the instant replay. The instant replay is also present with Game DVR, but it's a bigger performance hit, and on NVIDIA it's nearly zero performance hit to have it on. So basically you play your game and you have the instant replay on, and when something cool happens, you just hit Alt F10 and it saves the last, I don't know, 2 or 5 minutes onto your hard drive, and you can use that later to have it in a trailer. Even if you're not actually making a trailer right now, you can have some pre-recorded footage from your development that looks really, really cool. So try it, check it out. If that's on your computer, if you do have an NVIDIA GPU, make sure you use that thing because there is nothing better than this. Next thing, if you're using Unity, so Unity is a widely popular tool. A lot of people use Unity to create video games, and maybe you're using Unity too. So Unity has a thing called Unity Recorder built in. I have not personally used that, but it is a part of the engine. I think it's a package that you have to install, and you can record footage right from the editor. And why is it important to render from the editor? I will tell you about that a bit later, but this is a really cool thing that it's in the game. So you can capture any editor footage is built into Unity, but of course it works only in Unity. So if you don't use Unity, you cannot use that, right? Next thing is XSplit. So XSplit is it captures your entire screen. You can also use it to create layouts, and the layout that you see on the stream right now was created partly with XSplit as well. And it can record the footage from a video game from the entire desktop and from anything. So if it's not compatible with Game DVR, if it's not compatible with NVIDIA, you can still record that with XSplit Broadcaster. But XSplit is kind of an overkill because it's a broadcaster and it's also a layout, supports all of these crazy layouts. It does have a performance hit, but it's mostly based on GPU as well. So GPU has this advantage of having like a lot of tiny microprocessors inside. So when you set aside a bunch for that, the game should still run smoothly without a lot of performance hit when you use XSplit Broadcaster. The biggest drawback is that it's expensive. I think it's like $60 a year. I paid for a lifetime. I got a lifetime subscription that I think I paid $200 for that. It's definitely worth it if it's streaming. And if you're a streamer and you still want XSplit Broadcaster and you have it on the computer, it's worth remembering that it can record your gameplay. And it's really good at doing that. So if you have that, make sure you check it out and that you try it. Next thing, this thing is, it has zero performance hit because it's not on your computer. So if your computer, if you like, I don't know, maybe want to record from another device or a console or something like that, you need the HDMI capture card. So it's a thing that you can. There are versions that you connect to an USB port. There are models that you connect to a PCI Express. I have one right here. It's a AberMedia something. I still need to put it in my computer, so I'm not sure how that works. But what it does is that it takes a HDMI input, is like an NT graphics card. Graphics card puts the image from your computer onto the screen, and the anti-graphics card, that is the capture card, takes the image from outside into your computer and saves it to the disk. So as you probably figure out, you need a second PC, but you take zero performance hit. If your game is super, super intensive, or if your computer is not powerful enough, but you have this and then a laptop or a friend that is a YouTuber and have that, it is worth to try to record the footage on a different PC. So it, as I said, it has zero performance hit. It has superb quality, but the tool is pretty expensive. But still, if you have that, you're maybe a streamer or you have a friend that is a streamer, it's worth using that to the advantage of recording gameplay. And also, HDCP is the high definition copy protection. So you will be able to put the footage of your game through that thing. But if you like play a video from Netflix, it's just like, I think Netflix will simply cease to work if you have that connected to an HDMI output, because like the anti-piracy, right? So you cannot stream copy protected footage through that. So next thing, and this is my favorite. I think, yeah, it's my second favorite after the Nvidia. This is just like press a button and it works. Is to roll your own. If you're using Unity and don't want to use the Unity recorder, if you're using Unreal, if you're writing your own engine, you have access to the things that is on your screen. So what you do is like read it back into the memory and you save it to disk. So now you need to consider, is it worth it to kind of like encode it on the fly? You can do that, but that's like maybe you can copy paste some code from the internet, or it's a lot of work. But you can also just save a stream of like BMP or PNG images and then use ffmpeg that I will tell you about to combine all of them into one big movie. So the con is that you gotta write it, but you have the, like, you have your tool in the game. When your game runs, you like press a button and it outputs whatever you want from the game. And also, like, if your game is pixel perfect, remember that when you record with like Game DVR, or if you record with the Nvidia thing, it will record the entire screen. It will record the upscaled version, like the big pixels right here, all of the pixels, they will be big. But from your game, like if your game is pixel art and I don't know, 320 by 240, then you can record the 320 by 240 and upscale it later. So the footage that you can record takes less place. You can also palletize that, and you can also like manipulate that better, crop it properly. So like imagine when I'm cropping this upscaled image and I crop it mid pixel, and then I scale it again and it doesn't scale well, and I have the seam in the middle of the pixel, and I'm furious because I hate that. I want my pixels to be pixel perfect. So it's really good, especially if your game is pixel art, to have a thing that records the gameplay from the game. It's not much work. There are usually scripts you can copy and paste, and then you have a thing inside your game. And then also you can have the thing for the players to use it and maybe like, you know, post on social media, which is really good. So do consider that option. So now we've talked about all the tools that you can use to record. I think these are the most popular ones. Back in the days, there were tools that one of them was called Fraps, or like you probably know Bandicam. But now, because of the DVR and because of the NVIDIA tools and because of like the tools that you can roll your own, these are kind of out of the league right now. So I wouldn't really use them. If you want, you can obviously, but they provide a much bigger performance hit than all the options that I have shown you. And also, I would like to show you that you do not really need to buy software to create trailers. You can use things that are readily available, free, open source, or just on your computer since forever, and maybe you didn't know about them. So do consider these: Windows Game DVR, Nvidia Unity Recorder, a capture card if you have one. But okay, we know what tools we can use to record, but now what do I record? What do I record from the game? So I would like to give you some short points as to what to focus on, what to avoid, and how to choose and prepare for recording the footage. So let's make sure to record the right thing from your game. So how to choose what to record? First of all, this is something that Julius talked about and kind of emphasized, is to make sure you plan your trailer beforehand. You can create a storyboard, or you can just like have an idea in your head, like what you want it to be. Think about that. It's not, don't go in and just like record footage blindly, but think about what you want to show. Think about how the guy who watches it, how you would like him to feel, what kind of emotions you would like to evoke. Think about it this way: like, what is the trailer for the person that watches it? And think about that in kind of terms of what to record and what to bring forward from your game. Think about stuff that looks cool. Don't think about like stuff that I need to show this because I spent a month programming this system, but it's just like numbers and it's kind of hard to show. Why don't you show like cool explosions instead of some numbers? I know that the things you need to remember, that things that you are proud of from the games are might not be the things that look best, and you want things that look best, not feel best, not play best, because these things you leave them for gameplay. For trailer, you want things that look good. You want to blow people's minds. You want to kind of constantly blow people's minds when they're watching trailer and they're like, whoa, this is cool. And another even cooler thing. So kind of step it up, create a little of suspense, and blow people's minds in the trailer. Remember, you are limited in time. The trailer should not be too long, so make good choices. You will a lot of times be forced with like two pieces of footage and you will need to throw one out. You will have to do that. You cannot just cut them and like slap together too much stuff. You need to think. This is why you should plan, because then it's easier to throw stuff out that kind of doesn't fit the plan that you had, right? And too little is better than too much. Of course, when recording gameplay, you can't record too much gameplay and it's kind of on your disk. But then remember that uncompressed videos takes a lot of space on your disk, and editing a lot of videos is a lot of time. So when you record like a week long of videos, you will spend a week watching them and then you need to cut them and stuff like that. So remember about that. You do not need too much if the trailer is not too much. I think like for a minute trailer from a high content intensive game, an hour of footage, more than an hour of footage is way too much. Is way too much. 20 minutes of footage is okay. You do not need too much footage. So what to record? Some of the points that like what to focus on. Record best looking segments, not the best feeling, as I said. Only the looks. Only that thing on the screen matters. You can like, if you're not sure and you kind of feel that you're biased, just show stuff to other people and be like, this or this. And somebody will immediately say, this is good and this is bad, or maybe like whatever. Then you know that both are good, right? Choose footage from early parts of the game. So you do not want to spoil your entire game. You don't want to show the late game footage. You want to show footage that what the player expects when he gets in the game. Kind of you want to convey that feeling. And that feeling is the beginning of the game, not the later parts of the game. Of course, like you might want to show like a thing or two, but focus on early stuff. Focus on stuff that the player sees when he launches the game. Introduce characters. If your game has characters, if your game has like people inside that I know, animals or stuff like that, it has characters, show them. Like, this is Steve, and this is the story of Steve. Then you show the story of Steve, and kind of like you get the people interested. Like, it's not just a monkey that runs around, I don't know, a rat or a weasel. As a character of the game, this weasel is named Steve, and he steals the cheese from his neighbors. And now there is like an addenda, something that people are like, "Hey, look, this is not a weasel, or like it's a game about weasel." No, this is Steve. This is this guy, and he's doing stuff. So kind of introduce like character story, something like that, to get people hooked, to get people interested. Like it's always better to give things names and to like push things forward as a story, not as a mechanic. You do not want to show mechanics. You do not want to show content. You don't want to like all of these words. These are words that we are talking about right now because we are game developers. The players don't care about what is a mechanic, what is content, what is what. They care about what is the game. What are the characters? What is the story? What are the graphics? What is the sound? What is the gameplay? So this is what you want to show. Things that the player would like to see. Remember that. Focus on one thing at a time. So like when you show Steve, you do not show like 5 characters. No, you show one, and this is one. Like even if your game have more characters, you can mention that, but you focus on a thing. Like if you would want to introduce 5 characters in a 60 or 30-second trailer, is an overkill. Nobody will remember anything from that. You introduce one and be like, hey, this is this guy and this is his story. Even if you have 5 kind of like parallel character stories, you want to focus and you want the player to focus, and then you can say like, look, this was like one cool thing and we have like a lot of that, and people are like, whoa, a lot of that. And fake stuff. So this is if you've seen like the video game, the recent big video game that kind of showed a lot of fake stuff in the trailer that are not in the final game, you know what I'm talking about. But do not be discouraged by that. It is really important that you like when you want to shoot, especially when a game is 3D, you want to shoot a good angle of things. You want to fake that. So like you use an editor, you modify things slightly that you know that this is not completely in the game, but is it just good footage for a trailer. So don't be afraid of that. If you want to show a mechanic and that mechanic is in the game, but it is better to show it like kind of artificially, do it. Don't worry about that. Just go into the editor, create a scene, especially for recording, record that, and you're good. We don't want to lie to the players. We want to show things properly. So if this is better way to show, if you like have an UI around the screen and you want footage without that, of course you will remove it and then record the footage, because you can do that. You are like the game developer. But this is like, you don't call that faking, and this is what I'm talking about, because you can go and modify the game to look better in the trailer, to show exactly what you want to show. Maybe you want to slow something down, maybe you want to speed something up, maybe you want to create the cut inside the in-game animation instead of like post-editing. Do that and show that because it looks good. You do it. And what to avoid is the last point. So like what not to bring into the trailer with you. Don't focus on showing every feature. Your game might have a lot of stuff, a lot of options, a lot of possibilities, but you can focus on 1 or 2 cool stuff that you want to show, and then kind of leave the rest off. So don't focus on showing every feature, but focus on showing the cool stuff. Focus on 1 or 2 things that are really cool and that you can show in from your game. Drink water. That's much better. Okay, so what to avoid? Don't focus on showing every feature. You don't need that. Just focus on showing 1 cool thing at a time and not too much stuff. Avoid showing UIs, menus. Show the effects. So like, I know you might have been working for months on this cool character development system that is this tree inside the menu, but do you really want to show that unless this is like the major part of the game? Or maybe the only part of the game? But if it's just like a upgrade UI, do not show it. Show the upgraded character. Show what it can do. Be like, we have upgrades, and then you like smash a giant monster. Instead of like we have upgrades and then show this screen full of numbers and who knows what. Don't show that. Don't do that unless like your game is only UI. Obviously, do show that, right? But you want to show the effects. You want to show people that this is in the game, not that like what you can do, but what are the effects of the things that you can like achieve in the game, right? Short segments won't work best. So make sure you have a lot of cuts, right? Not a lot of long features. Just cut a lot. Of course, like make sure that it's easy for a brain to follow, but make sure that the segments are not like a couple, 4 or 5 seconds, 10 seconds is a really long segment. Unless this is like an introductory part or a story part that needs to be dragged on, you want to avoid and kind of show the action, right? And avoid footage that needs reference. Either like when you reference something for, I don't know, pop culture, or when you reference something from the game that the people that are watching are not aware of. Make sure that the person kind of goes in blindly and knows nothing about the world around them and looks at the trailer and that they see what you want them to see, right? You don't want them to have like a preliminary knowledge to understand the trailer. You want them to understand it. So make sure if you want to reference a thing in the game, make sure that the thing that you reference later in the trailer is before in the trailer. And there's not much time. So it's kind of hard to balance things like that. So best to avoid that unless you really want that. All right. So these are the things that you should put in your trailer. And now I will tell you about like when you have the footage, you have recorded it, you need to prepare it to work with it. So I will tell you about how to like marinate the footage to make sure that it works inside your editor really well, and then you can like put it together swiftly without much hassle. So first, I will focus on tools, the video editing tools that you can use. There are many of them. There are many video editors, but really, you only need one or a handful that you really like. So pick one that you like and stick to it. I will show you some of the like middleware video tools that are cool to get like prepared to marinate the footage, but I will also show you some editors that are just general editors that you can throw stuff in and manipulate it. So the first and the most important thing that you are going to need is the ffmpeg.exe. Looks really scary because it is a command line tool. It is a command line tool that you use from the command line. It doesn't have an user interface at all. You just manipulate that with like command line arguments, and there are tons of that. So it is the best tool to prepare the footage. When you have the footage out of your game from the DVR or from other things, you want to throw it into the ffmpeg before you do that. So, for example, you recorded a footage that is too small and you want to upscale it with like nearest neighbor scaling, not the like bilinear filterings. You don't want it filtered and blurred out. You want your pixels to be crisp. So you take the ffmpeg and it has a command to upscale your video with the nearest neighbor scaling. Moreover, if your video, like your gameplay footage, is not 60:9 and you want your trailer to be 16:9, you can also crop it and letterbox it. With like one single command, it can do all of that. ffmpeg.exe. It looks really scary, but you just like you go to Google and you Google stuff. How do I do this thing with ffmpeg? And you go to Stack Overflow and you just copy paste into the command line, and it does that. It does everything. It's absolutely free and it's GPL based. So you just download the ffmpeg.exe and use it for everything. In my video folder, I have like a lot of footage from the games, the folder that the footage falls in. I have this and I have a batch file, like batch files, different ones that can do like batch processing of the ffmpeg. for the ffmpeg. So I basically can like do batch processing of all the footage that I have from the game. Just click like one batch file and it works. So it's like it's really good, especially when you have like a lot of files. So it is the best tool to use. It can do anything. It has like a lot of cheap video editors or freeware video editors are based on that. So they are just like a user interface, a graphical user interface for the ffmpeg, and then they charge money for that. That's all right because like ffmpeg is hard to use, but you can just use that and Stack Overflow and you are all right. It supports every format known to mankind. Like if you throw it like a Commodore 64 SID music, it will convert it into like, I don't know, Matroska video or like MPG, or it will convert anything to anything. Like not only videos, it will convert video to audio, audio to video without video, and it can convert like a lot of you have the BMP files that you are written yourself, I think, that dumps the BMPs from your game as frames and they are numbered. It will just like make them into AVI with one single click or MP4 or whatever else you want. It does the lossless manipulation. So like you like, you know, when you upscale the pixel perfect stuff, you can keep the raw format without any compression and you have the crispest stuff ever. We can like make it output like PNGs and it's always the best. There are lots of tutorials on the web. Stack Overflow is a friend and it has everything, and the manual is like super expensive. It supports so many things, and the only con is the con, meaning the console. You need to use the console, you need to learn to use it. But when you do, it's the best, really. So some examples on how to use ffmpeg is one of my favorite kind of copy paste lines is the web friendly convert. So what it does, it's like this is the line that you just copy paste into your command line, and I will go like one by one on like what it does. So it takes the input video and it can be anything. It can be AVI, it can be MP4. And then you choose a codec to use to re-encode it. And you want the X264 codec. So it is the codec that most of the browsers support. There's now one codec called AV1 coming, but it's still not there yet. And this is not only supported by the browsers and by the web, but also it's supported by hardware, so it's hardware decoded. So you want that for mobile, when you like want people to watch your trailer on the mobile. When it's hardware, it will take less battery out of like people's pockets for that. So you want that. And if you have an Nvidia card, also you can use the H264 Nvidia encoder to encode faster using the GPU, which is also an advantage of Nvidia card. Then you do the bitrate. The bitrate of 12 is kind of like high web bitrate. This is good. This is like proper for YouTube. You can upload that and be sure that it looks good. Unless it's like 4K, but for 1080p, this is okay. 40 megabits per second is enough for editing. You might want to use like raw footage, like without any compression, but it takes so much place on the disk and you need a really fast disk, and you really don't need that with 40 megabits per second, or you can do like 80. It's enough for what you need. 12 megabits is good for YouTube, and 2 megabits is really good for social networks because they are going to re-encode the video that you send them anyways. But they usually use, I think they use ffmpeg as well. So when you throw them in a video that is the same format that they want to convert to, the video will just like fall through without any like through compression, saving a lot of quality. So 2 megabits per second is really good if you want like a trailer for Twitter, and also 720p. The most important part of this is the pixel format. The U420p, you do not want RGB format because you want the hardware decoders and the browser decoders to be able to read the file properly. And these all use this pixel format. So use this pixel format and make sure you have that line in your convert if you want your video to work on the web properly. And then there's a thing called CRF20. And the CRF20, I really have no idea what's that. because I forgot, but it's the thing I just copied from Stack Overflow, and it works, so it's there. And the AN, you can also like VN is no video, AN is no audio. You can do like CV, you can do like CA and like specify the audio codec. Like all of this is pretty straightforward once you get into that. But for editing, when you're gonna have like external audio, you do not want audio in your footage, so you can just leave it out, and it will like take less space and don't mess up your like editor later. And then you specify your output file name, and then it does like outputs the file. Some more examples is like, for example, this one, the first one will scale up a pixel art game using the nearest neighbor scaling. So like you specify the nearest neighbor scaling, and you scale up like 4 times from 320 by 200, and you get the output file with like scaled up big pixels. You can also like when you scale, you can specify one of the values to be -1. This means it will just use the aspect ratio. Moreover, if the value is -2, it will specify that this is bound to aspect ratio, and also it will always be divisible by 2. You can also specify 4 here, and it will be divisible by 4. Like, why is this important? Is that for MP4 and H.264 format, you need the width and the height of the video to be divisible by 4. So if the footage you recorded is cropped weirdly, you do want the thing to put -4 here to make sure that it's properly cropped for MP4. To extract audio from a file, you just like do this and it spits out audio file. And you can also like put 2 videos side by side. There's like an infinite amount of things you can do with that if you just like copy paste stuff from the internet into your command line. Really, really recommend. Use ffmpeg is like a 40 megabyte exe file that just console based, but it does all of those things. Next tool, this one is even weirder. It's called VirtualDub. So VirtualDub is this really, really, really old video editor for Windows 95. It works on a computer that has 32 megabytes of RAM, and basically is like streams the video from the disk, so it doesn't use much RAM. But the editor kind of features are really limited. If you want to like actually put together several files, they need to have like the same compression and the same frame rate and the same resolution. But one thing that it's really good at is cropping. So if you have a footage from Unity, like you can see here in the picture, it is really good to throw it into VirtualDub first and then crop it. You can add it, so usually it manipulates AV files with like the video for Windows codecs, but you can extend it so it like accepts MP4s and it also spits out MP4s. If you play a bit with the plugins that it has, you can find them online and just like put in the app, and it like saves you a lot of time because you like take the footage, crop it properly to whatever format you would like it to, and then you output. You can also, one thing that is really good is that it has like frame perfect. So all of the video editors out there are time based. So you have like time, milliseconds, microseconds, whatever. Here you have frames. So you cut it by frame, frame, frame. And if you want to sync your trailer to the music, you can like do it really, 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 really like down to a single frame using this thing. It's free. It works like on anything starting with Windows 95. There's also a 64-bit version, but not all of the plugins work there. So make sure that maybe you want the 32. I usually have both and use them interchangeably. It can also export GIFs. So it's like the best tool to export GIFs. It really optimizes them well. But yeah, it's from different era. It's like something that is hard to learn. It's not much format support, and the like MP4 support is a bit wonky, but it's good for cropping and trimming. Like it's a good middleman job. So some of the goodies. One of my favorite things is the frame rate manipulation. So especially when I want to export GIFs from it, I can use the thing that it processes every second frame. So it doesn't blur the frames out. It takes very little time to do that. but I can have a video that's 2 times faster, or by manipulation, I can just like drop every second frame and then have like a GIF that's not choppy, right? Because GIFs have a limited amount of frames they can use, and 60 FPS GIFs really don't do the trick. So you want to stick to like 30 and stuff. Frame perfect editing, you can like remove bad frames, do stuff like that. Just like frame by frame, inspect your footage. It's really good for that. It's also good to get like a really specific frame out of your footage. You put the footage into VirtualDub and you take screenshots out of them. Visual cropping, so it has like a tool to crop. You don't have to input like ffmpeg can do cropping, but you need to input stuff. But here you can like crop out like Unity editor just using your mouse. And it does have filters. It has a lot of them. These are like not super complicated, but some of them are really good. Like it has resize with a lot of options, so they're good. And they're like you can download plugins with extra stuff as well. And it does GIF export. This is the best feature. You just like export GIF from it and put it on Twitter, and it's the best thing. Like I love GIFs. I love exporting GIFs, and I always use that to create them from the footage. Next tool, also a weird tool from a different era. It's Windows Movie Maker. So Windows Movie Maker is also free. It's really good for editing and putting it together. You might think that this is not powerful enough, but you only need like, you're not working with like industry grade movies, and you're not working with a footage that's like an hour long. You're working with really short segments of footage. And this is the best tool. You can just, you split it, you arrange it to the music, you play, it works well, export, and then you have your movie ready. You don't really need much more unless you want to do some advanced stuff. But if you just want to like, you want to cut the footage and put it back together, cut it with VirtualDub and then put it back together inside Movie Maker, and you're done. So yeah, the thing is, it doesn't have too many features. It crashes, so make sure you save often because it can like just crash randomly. It once crashed when saving, so also keep backups. And it's not supported and hard to obtain, so it's a part of a thing called Windows Life Essentials 2012, and you need to find this to download it. And I don't think it's available from the Microsoft website anymore, but if you download an offline installer of that, you will be able to check, like, you don't need Messenger, Mail, or Writer, just the photo gallery in Movie Maker. Install that and use the Movie Maker. It's good. One other thing is Adobe Premiere Elements. So Adobe Premiere is like high grade and really expensive, but this is like a section called sale and bundle hunting, because you can often get Adobe Premiere Elements. I got it bundled with my webcam. I can't show you the webcam because I'm just using it right now, but this is a Logitech C9200 color size SR HD 1080p. So it's the Logitech highest end webcam, and it came bundled with Adobe Premiere Elements for free. And it's good enough. This thing is good enough to add videos if you need more power than Windows Movie Maker. So what I really don't like about that is that it has this like movie approach. So you choose if you're like PAL or NTSC. It doesn't make sense in video games, right? But you need to make those weird choices. It doesn't support aspect ratios other than the standard ones. It doesn't support raw footage, so you need compressed MP4 footage. So it has limitations, but it does the trick, right? And it has, so one cool thing about that is that it has, on top of the Movie Maker, it has like multiple layers of videos. So you can like have many of them, and it's easier to have like many things at the same time. The other one is Sony Vegas Pro. I've used it only once, but it's also really powerful. And it sometimes appears in Humble Bundle. It was there once and I missed it, but it happened the second time and I snatched it from Humble Bundle for really cheap. So keep your eyes out on that website, because sometimes there are like really cool software editors out there. You can just go to Sony Vegas Pro website and probably they have like a sale for you or a coupon or something. And another one is Pinnacle Studio. I didn't really use that, but I think like it's used by a lot of YouTubers. That's at least what I heard. And also sometimes appear in Humble Bundle. And hey, it is on Humble Bundle right now. So if you go to humblebundle.com, it's there for $1. I haven't really used that, but I got it, and I'm gonna definitely try it. Pinnacle Studio 24 Ultimate is on Humble Bundle for $1 right now. So if you're like participating in the game trailer challenge, maybe it's worth that $1 to snatch it to use it for your advantage. All right. And one slide is the composition tips. As I said, a lot of this has been touched by Julius already, so I will only skim the surface. First of all, 30 to 60 seconds, and 6 seconds is better than 66 seconds. And there's also a Twitter that's widely popular. It's called Steam Trailers in 6 seconds. So what this Twitter does is like for every released game, it takes the trailer, cuts it randomly into 6 seconds, and then shows it on the screen. Think about that when putting together your trailer, because sometimes like I see a trailer, a 6 second trailer there, that's the 6 seconds, it's cut randomly, but it's only like full screen titles. So there's no gameplay. It's just black screen and text for 6 seconds, different text. And I don't see the gameplay. But for a good trailer, a properly put together trailer, I see gameplay all the time, because that's like 99% of the 30 seconds trailer is the gameplay. So keep that in mind, that like this is a good thing to keep in mind. If I cut random 6 seconds from my trailer, what will I see? And if you see like only text, only stuff like that, you do not want that. So make sure you think about that. Too little is better than too much. As I said, 6 seconds is better than 66. No empty title cards. That's what I said before. Like if you want text on top of your video, make sure that text is on top of gameplay, that it is there, but not only text. People don't want to see text on the video. This is not why you go to YouTube to read text, right? You all go there to watch videos. You want a lot of gameplay, but not only gameplay. You want to show cool stuff. And of course, no UI and no boring stuff. So now, do we have time left? We have time left. So now I would like to show you like kind of like an example of putting together a video. So first of all, I will show you like how to record footage. I have an old game that I would like to show you there. It's on DOSBox. This is the DOSBox. And I have this old game called Matchbox. Okay, so it's a game about going right and really not much else. So you just go right and stuff happens. And I want to record trailer from that. That is kind of interesting. So what I did, I pre-recorded this trailer. When I press Ctrl R F5, you can see that it stopped capturing the video already. And when I quit that, and I have the Movie Maker here, and I already have pre-recorded footage that I put in the Movie Maker to show you how it's done. I also created a music track inside Adobe Audition. Here it is. And this track is like a short 38 seconds, but it kind of ends here. So after 22 seconds, I want the game to be done. So I have this here inside the Movie Maker. I already have it pre-recorded and pre-cut, but if I wanted to, I could have used the Movie Maker, not the Movie Maker, but the ffmpeg. So what happened is that this trailer, this Matchbox 000 AVI that was recorded by DOSBox is this weird format. So I had to do the thing when I converted the Matchbox AVI into the MP4 using the codec and into like 12 megabits per second to have it editable. And I also used the scaling to have it scaled up inside the Windows Movie Maker, because I don't want Windows Movie Maker to scale this up, because what will happen is that it will just look bad, right? So when I hit enter, it will ask me to overwrite, and then it will start converting this video into a video that can be read with Windows Movie Maker. So it's a really cool thing. If you have these things handy, like all of these like lines of code, I have it saved in a text file or a batch file, and I can use them later easily. And now I have a file that I can simply insert here and use. So what I want to show here is, first of all, I would like to show this goes last because this is the title screen. So I can use the split function to split it up, and I will split it up maybe like before the text appears, this much. So I have this will come last. The next thing that I need is, I told you not to use full screen title cards, but there's one exception from this rule, and the exception is the beginning, where you want to introduce yourself. So I will write here, Sos Sosowski presents. I want this to be properly centered. And here it appears. I don't want it to be too long. The beginning, if I go here, the beginning of the song takes 4 seconds. So I want this to be 4 seconds long. And I want this video to also be 4 seconds long. And now when I hit play, it will go right into this. But I want to show the gameplay first. So I will cut some segments with the gameplay. I have some segments that I really like. So one is here when he is standing. I will split that. I will delete the unnecessary part and maybe keep around a bit too much as well here. But I can also use the trimming tool to take this part and make sure that it starts at 15. I can start at 16 and end at 20, and will be exactly 4 seconds long. So this is the first thing that will happen. And then you can see this. But then I can show him like different scapes. So here is the other person asking, where are you going? I can maybe use that. Or I can just show the guy running. So I will use this part where he runs through the screen. That's good enough. And then I will see how long is this segment using the trim tool. And I want this segment to be 2 seconds long. So I'll edit the neighbor numbers and save the trim. So now I have another segment where he runs. And now I want the segment with the person talking. Where are you going? So I will cut that out from here. When he stops, I will split. Now I have, where are you going? Before he starts running, I will split again, and then I will use trimming tool to make sure that the part is exactly 2 seconds long. Save the trim. And there I have it. This is the first part, nothing happens. It's a build up. Then I have running. Then I have the text, where are you going? Next, let's inspect the footage to find more stuff. And I want this. Is this the right way? So I will start right here, maybe, or maybe I think I recorded that several times. Yes. So I will find the last time because that's good. Is this the, yes, here. And I will cut here, get rid of the rest. Is this the right way? Split, and I also want this to be 2 seconds long. So it starts from 60 and go until 62. So now let's Now I want this with nothing. There's a part that just has nothing. So I will cut here. And I want this to be long part. So I will make sure that it's from 76 seconds until 80 seconds. So it's 4 seconds long. So I have this, I have this. And I will also, you can't hear the music, but it's arranged with the music. So now the music changes and there's nothing. And I will also add another 4-second section of nothing. Or maybe this. Why don't you stay here? Split. Split. And now I will trim it to make sure it's 4 seconds. So it's from 90. Oh no, it's from 90.8 until 94.8. And it's 4 seconds. So now I have this one. That's 4 seconds long. And this one. Why don't you stay here? And that's it. That was the last I've heard, the last bounce that's right here in the song. And I want here to the screen to go dark and then go back to this matchbox screen. So maybe I will replace part of this to have more footage from 16 until 18. And then I will be able to fit this part that I really wanted here. Is this the right way? Oh, that's the wrong one. This one here. So now I have this. He stands. Is this the right way? That's wrong. It should be where are you going first? And then nothing. And then is this the right way? And then nothing. He stands. Where are you going? He runs. Is this the right way? Nothing. Why don't you stay here? And now I will add a black screen, a title, but I will really erase the text and I will make the title go for 2 seconds. No, for 1.25, I think that was. And then we'll go into the Matchbox screen. And the Matchbox screen, I will speed it down so it goes until the end of the video and I don't need any more footage. And this is how we have our trailer done. I need to cut that maybe here. Let me see how much time is that. This needs to be a bit longer, 1.5. I will show you the video in full in a moment. This needs to be a bit longer as well. So this needs to be an extra second long. We can do that. And this, let me see now. And this will be not 1.5, but 1.2. And now we have Matchbox. And we can also add text. Now I will add caption that says, "By me." It appears later, and then here we will cut everything. Video tools, split. I delete this, and I will add a visual effect of fade to black. And that was it. That was the trailer that I meant. It's 33 seconds long, but in reality, it ends after 20 seconds. This is the perfect length for the trailer. So thank you for watching. If you have any questions, do we do questions? There are no questions. So thank you for watching and good luck.